A Disaster Central special report. My name is David Vela reporting in from Houston, Texas. A massive 7.6 preliminary 8.0 maybe has struck the coast of, I think, the Caribbean region. Honduras. There is a tsunami threat that is imminent. I am joined by various people right now. I'm joined by Granophonics, Ares, Arctic, Jacob, Rainey, Mike, Taryn, and myself. This is full complete coverage as we are providing here at Disaster Central. How are we doing, folks? How are we doing, folks?
Good.
Making the thumbnail.
Interesting day. Yeah.
Interesting day.
This has definitely been
What's
quite
the
a jolt into the activities.
I have one question. What's like the return rate for earthquakes like this in this region? Like, what's the return?
Almost never. So we can.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Folks, for those that are watching, we want to bring you a summarization of what happened. Approximately under 10 minutes ago, a massive preliminary 7.6 on global quake. There's been estimations going to 8, potentially more than that, has struck. An earthquake struck the coast of Honduras. The Pacific Tsunami Warning Center, I think it's the Tsunami Warning Center, has issued a tsunami threat. They are expecting quote-unquote large tsunami waves. This is undoubtedly a very dangerous situation. Can someone talk for me, please? I'm trying to do graphics as we speak.
No, you don't need to. Oh, wait, for the stream.
Yeah, for the stream.
Okay,
yeah, for the stream. Yeah. Yeah, just right now, right off the bat. If you live along the coast, anywhere along the coast of northern Honduras, eastern Belize, on the east coast of the Yucatan, south coast of Cuba, along the island of Jamaica, Cayman Islands. If you live on those coastlines, please evacuate now. Do not stay behind. Do not wait for it. Evacuate now. Your life could be in danger. Evacuate now.
And of course, folks, obviously we have a lot going on right now here within the ranks. Folks, this is a very rare earthquake. We've gone a preliminary 7.6. There's been some estimations going to 8, I believe. So I think one of the agencies, I believe it was the Tsunami Warning Center, has issued, quote, large tsunami waves are possible. This is no joke, folks. This is a very big earthquake. These type of earthquakes around here do not happen all the time. Please, what you can do right now if you're on the coast, evacuate now. Get out of the coastlines if you possibly can. This is a very life-threatening and dangerous situation. Tsunamis come in multiple waves, not just one. Folks, anything to add on? I mean,
okay, tsunami arrival times. I'm going to try to do this to my best because it's a really long list because it's the entire Caribbean. But so the first area expected to be impacted is the Cayman Islands, which is around 52 of this hour, so that's about 15 or so minutes. Is around the first impact, and it would go to Cuba, which would be around 40 or so minutes from now. Then it would hit the Yucatan area of Mexico. Or is this Cozumel? I don't know if that's an island. It sounds like it's an island. Cozumel around the same time. Yeah. And then it should reach Honduras around an hour or so from now. And then that's all I'll say for now because they are probably going to update this soon once they get like a official magnitude down is when they'll probably update this further. So that's the immediate 1 hour threat, but most of it looks like for most of the Caribbean, it's probably around the next 2 to 4 hours if it is going to generate a massive tsunami. We'll now read that out when they do their next.
I do want to note real quick.
Oh, there we go. Okay, big updates for tsunami advisory has been issued for Puerto Rico and the U.S. Virgin Islands.
Yes, and Tsunami Center has downgraded this to 7.5. It looks like.
Okay.
So
That's probably official. It's probably gonna be MWW.
that's probably gonna change. USGS
USGS
dropped it to
just
six point
uploaded
seven. Wait, what?
6.7.
Nah, that's MB. That's gonna change.
Yeah, that's
I
gonna change.
doubt.
There's no way because USGS update 6.7. I don't think that's gonna stay that way.
Like,
That
I
would
feel
be
like
Guys, just to clarify, 6.7 is on the body wave magnitude, not the moment magnitude.
Yeah.
It's not a very conventional scale.
Yeah.
And MB
Yeah, but-
tends to saturate at a certain limit, so it's
David, here's your thumbnail.
Upload it yourself, please. I am
yeah, but,
managing
okay,
multiple
here's
things.
More accurate.
I
So,
can upload.
I
I
do
can
have in
upload
here. I would say this is more accurate. Taryn could attest to it, like can see verify, but it is 7.6 MWW. So that is probably more accurate than MBB. I think they chose MB due to the fact that it has more stations and stuff. But I would say 7.6 is probably a realistic.
So to reiterate what's going on, folks, because this is all happening as we speak. About 15 minutes ago, a 7.6 earthquake struck the coast of the northern parts of Honduras. Tsunami advisories have just been issued for Puerto Rico and I believe the U.S. Virgin Islands. The governments of Cuba, Jamaica, Haiti, those areas, they have not issued anything yet. I'm sure that will change within the coming hours or coming minutes. Sorry. The earthquake has been downgraded to a 7.6 preliminary, or at least for the second update. There are potential tsunamis. A tsunami is potential to happen. So that is what's going on from what we know so far. In terms of what we know when it comes to what is going on within the area of the shaking, probably not much, considering the fact that the earthquake is far away. However, again, to reiterate, a tsunami is possible with this. So it's not out of the question. So that's why we have to tell you that if you are in the coasts of Jamaica, Cuba, Haiti, the Dominican Republic, if you're in the tsunami advisories in the U.S. Virgin Islands, Puerto Rico, and in particular, if you're in Central America by the coastline, you have to evacuate now. This is a life or death situation if the tsunami is actually there. But even if it's not there, you don't want to risk it. So please, folks, evacuate now. Don't wait till it's the last minute. So, folks, obviously, we here at Disaster Central are having we're kind of working in multiple spots to get our information, so it might take a while, but there is a very high likelihood of the situation.
Hey, David.
Yeah.
I've just given you some like text fields you should put on the stream. I've sent you in DM. Just SEO optimized so we can get further reach.
I can't do that right now because
Yeah, if you have time, who has access to the channel?
I do. Wait, what do you want? What do you want?
It's just like is it Mike? Yeah. It's just like description, that kind of thing. Just
Oh, okay.
word out there,
Okay.
yeah.
All right.
So to reiterate, folks, we are working in multiple different areas to get you coverage. Just understand that everything is coming in quick. Just to reiterate what's going on, because we're getting a lot of people to tune in. A magnitude preliminary, at least according to the Tsunami Warning Center, a 7.6 has struck the coast of northern Honduras. With us being told, we have been told that there is a potential likelihood of a tsunami generating. That's for that reason, tsunami warnings have been issued, or tsunami advisories have been issued in Puerto Rico and in the U.S. Virgin Islands. The governments, I'm not sure if any other government has issued their own alerts. My team behind me are working to get that.
Yeah, news.
To reiterate, the USGS has set it to 6.7. However, that was not the.
They just upgraded to 7.6 just now.
Is there anything we need to know?
Is that for the moment?
Yeah, it's now at
Uh,
7.6.
7.6 is moment, or yeah.
Yeah, so
That's the moment magnitude, which is the realistic one versus 6.7. So
the 6.7 number that we're getting, the people are referring to the 6.7. The 7.6 is the moment magnitude. The 6.7 is, I believe, the what is it?
Body weight.
Body
Like a
weight.
less
So
accurate.
it's unconventional. That scale is unconventional. The USGS has that because they're calculating the moment intensity. So not the so the 6.7 is the body. Uh, wait. So please.
USGS has now changed it now back to 7.6 on the website fully, so you don't need to go
Yeah,
through all the
moment
hassle to figure
tensors
that
out.
out.
There we go.
Yeah.
Moment tensors
So
out as well for
there
sure.
you go. Which is likely, and they put a 5 on it. That's real. I don't know if that's goofy. That's good change. So, but this is interesting.
I think this earthquake is super sheer.
We'll be answering your questions. Matchlick needs some sleep. Asks, my dad is off the coast of Louisiana. Rig, will he be safe? I can say,
That's too. That okay. That is to be decided because we don't know how big the tsunami is.
yeah.
I'm always would have a degree of caution because if it is a bigger tsunami, then it would have some effect to the Gulf of Mexico. I can't say what effect, but it is in the realm of possibility.
Yeah, it wouldn't have nearly as
I would
major of
say it's
effect though.
unlikely, but
Yeah.
it is within the realm of possibility.
I will say a similar sized event happened in 2018, also around the exact same area, and it was a strike slip, and as a result, the highest tsunami was only like 1.3
And
feet high. So
I just got confirmation that this is a strike slip earthquake.
yeah, so that diminishes tsunami
There still could
potential
be a
a lot.
tsunami threat from like landslides underwater, but it's not to the extent of a thrust
Yeah,
or a force earthquake. So
the chance of a
the
major
likelihood of a
tsunami, the
massive
chance of a
tsunami
major tsunami is very low.
Mike, guys.
I believe the
One
EMSC is now 7.4.
Y'all, one thing that I've noticed is that this earthquake struck near the junction with normal faults. So if this was a complex earthquake that I know ruptured predominantly strike slip fault, but if it ruptured on the normal faults, that's gonna cause tsunamis. And if it's like a multi-fault rupture, and yeah, that's the danger. That's the
And
danger.
that's probably why I think probably out of caution they did the advisories because like it is like 2 hours out of looking at the arrival time, so they're probably just doing the advisories out of caution due to that being a possibility. Because like this is like a similar scenario with like the 7 off of California where that was also a strike slip where it didn't have that big a tsunami, but they still put the tsunami warning out for most of the for like the northern coast of California.
Yo, it's a green pager.
Yeah, I was about to say it's a green pager, which is kind
Maybe
of
seen
cool.
like they will keep on updating this over time. I think they did a non-US Caribbean update. Yeah, they just did. Did they put forecasted height in it?
That would be nice to get some forecasted height, folks. I will be answering your questions when you can. We're going to obviously be continuing coverage at least for a few hours. But from right now, what we
I
can
did
tell you.
see I wanted to report real quick. I did see a report on Twitter. I mean, obviously, take this with a grain of salt, but someone said that they felt shaking all the way in Cancun.
Yeah, that's possible.
that
very
one's
much.
Yeah,
That was
yeah,
possible.
Also, just to mention, this is the same fault that extends into Guatemala, and that was the one that killed 23,000 people in 1975. Or at least scientists give it two different names, but it is basically the same fault.
Yeah, the only thing they changed they just issued another. Oh wait, oh this is brand new. Actually, let me read this for a second. Oh, this Spanish message. Oh, it must have like 40 minutes. It's a Spanish message. Okay, they say there's no tsunami danger for the U.S. East Coast, Gulf of Mexico states, or eastern coast of Canada.
Okay, but there
So
is.
they believe there's no threat.
But there is
to
for
the Gulf of
the Caribbean.
Mexico.
All right.
Yeah, Caribbean
It
was
says
good.
it says hazardous tsunami waves from this earthquake are possible within 1,000 kilometers of the epicenter along the coasts of Cayman Islands, Jamaica, Cuba, Mexico, Honduras, Bahamas, San Andres, Providence, Belize, Haiti, Costa Rica, Panama, Nicaragua, and Guatemala.
Well, let's take a look at the finite foam and see what it says. Hopefully there's something interesting in this event.
To reiterate, because we are a huge influx of people joining in, reiterate what has happened. About, I would say, 30 minutes ago, a magnitude 7.6 earthquake has struck the coast of Honduras, the northern coast. There is a tsunami threat for the Caribbean. There is no tsunami threat for the U.S. Gulf or East Coast, though. Puerto Rico and the U.S. Virgin Islands are, however, under tsunami advisories. Now, as to any other country that we know, we cannot say because there has not been any warnings or advisories or watches issued from their respective governments. So that's what we can say right now. There is a 7.6 earthquake that has struck. Tsunami threat is possible. However, when it comes to potentially a major tsunami warning, this major tsunami, the chances are diminishing because of the mechanics that went into this earthquake. So that's a good thing. However, we do not know the extent of how major the waves could be. I believe the U.S. Tsunami Warning Center has said that there could be major tsunami waves between 1,000 kilometers from the earthquake epicenter. That's what's going on. The depth on Global Quick is 0.0. I believe that the depth on the USGS was, what was it? Can somebody tell me? 10 kilometers deep.
10 kilometers.
So 10 kilometers deep.
Maps out too.
Or 6.2 miles.
You see if someone could try to find like a live cam on the Cayman Islands or in like the next 5-10 minutes. What's the expected arrival time?
So, folks, just understand, again, as we
where's the location of the dart?
As we have said, we will continue coverage as we speak, folks, so don't worry about that. Baby Joker asks, how long before we know if a tsunami...
Time.
Yeah, it'll be a long time, but it'll be dependent on what the dart says. A dart is pretty much this instrument that detects tsunami waves. It's this instrument that is used to measure wave heights, and the nearest dart station is near the Cayman, so it could take a while. Go ahead.
Hey, I just wanted to state that Puerto Rico, the National Buoy Center has determined that Puerto Rico waters are currently receded by 10 nautical miles. Just to give you a heads up.
Oh.
So, and I missed. Oh goodness me.
Do you have a source for that?
18.5 for. Hold on, wait. I'll send out a. There is a link here. You gotta kind of navigate it yourself. I'll put it in group discussion.
I know. I'm currently trying to find a webcam right now.
I would love to have a webcam.
For the Cayman, because the Cayman Islands are there.
We're gonna continue.
Sunshine, sweet, Grand Cayman.
So you say waters near Puerto Rico have receded? Is that what you said?
Yes, by 10 nautical miles, which would be 18.5 kilometers, or I think 11.5 miles, as I remember.
And I just want to clear up something on the stream. We've been getting a lot of people talking about 6.7s. Again, to reiterate, they changed it from a 6.7 to 7.6 because that 6.7 came from a scale that's not necessarily reliable. The 7.6 is the most reliable one because that's the moment intensity scale, which is the actual intensity when the earthquake ruptured. The 6.7 is the body weight of when this rupture happened. So the 7.6 is the official one according to the USGS. So just keep that in mind. Tsunami warnings. Tsunami is still possible in multiple areas. So I want to reiterate that. Please continue to have your. Please continue to have. If you do have any questions, please ask. Apologies, I'm still working on graphics behind the scenes.
For some reason, they have yet to put the South Puerto Rico buoy in tsunami station event mode.
Hey, David, what graphics elements do you need?
Let's take a look here.
I'm just working on headlines right now.
Oh, okay, just like okay.
Yeah.
If you need like JPEGs or anything, I can give you them.
Well, the EMSC, I believe. What was the intense?
Live camera at the beach in the Cayman Islands.
What was?
I'll put it.
I'm trying to find it. I'm like literally hunting.
I'll put it in. I put it in group discussion. It's in the Cayman Islands.
Correct conch. This is a weird webcam.
There's people sitting there like nothing's happening.
I will say again, it does look like this thing is. It does look like this thing is strike slip, mainly strike slip, at least. So again, there could still be tsunami waves, but the chance of like major ones are still like pretty low, I would say. So
yes.
So we're getting a lot of questions about tsunami, potential tsunami. Yes, there is a potential tsunami. So please understand that we're about to show you live feed of we are about to show you live feed of what is going on in the Cayman Islands. At any moment when we possibly can show you this.
Cayman Islands.
Yeah, Cayman Islands. That's what I was. I think that's what I said. And it gets
right.
Let me get this loaded up.
Okay, I would say if you're along the evacuate away from the coast. Do not enter into the water. Just leave the coastlines.
No. Okay. So let me just clear up some things right now. If you again, as was previously said, wait a minute. Just before we have gone questions about people in the United States on the main 48. I'm telling you right now, the main 48 states, the Gulf Coast, the Eastern Coast, you are fine. You are completely safe from the tsunami, from a potential tsunami, according to the Tsunami Warning Center. So, to answer your question about whether or not tsunami will hit the actual United States, including the Commonwealth and territories in the Caribbean, the answer is you are safe. However, if you are in Puerto Rico, the U.S. Virgin Islands, or anywhere in the Caribbean, please, please, there is a tsunami threat.
Yes. I mean, this was a strike slip earthquake, which usually wouldn't produce any major tsunamis, but it still could have ruptured normal faults, would have produced a tsunami, and it could still have caused underwater landslides, which would also have produced a larger tsunami than just a fully strike slip earthquake. So there's obviously still a major threat for dangerous tsunami waves in the Caribbean, like Jamaica, Cayman Islands, Honduras, those areas.
Now, let me get you. We're trying to get some of the graphics here displayed, but in the meantime, let me just quickly.
I'm trying to wait for more information on the buoy. It's just kind of acting goofy. It's also annoying to read this out.
See, we need to change the display feed to a reddish color.
By the way, I do want to give it. I do want to give a note that the buoy is out in the middle of the ocean, so it's estimating that it's receded 10 nautical miles. It doesn't necessarily mean that it is actually 10 nautical miles. It's not that close to the shore as you think. I mean, if you go onto the buoy website, it literally is like in the middle of the ocean. So it just gives an estimate to relay to boats. So there's a chance it might not recede 10 nautical miles, but these buoys are pretty accurate in the past. Um, Japan, for example, when they had their big quake in 2011, had buoys all the way out over 100 miles out from the ocean that were giving estimates that were fairly accurate when that happened, but that's a whole different story.
You
So,
are watching.
but again, it is an estimate.
I have switched your feeds. You are looking at the Cayman Islands. This is a live feed from the Cayman Islands. You can see it is pretty dark out there. Sunset is about, at least sunset has already happened if you're on the East Coast. Um, so that's that. This is live feed right now. About a few seconds behind, but we're still there. And you can see people are still there. I believe people are unaware of what is going on, which is pretty concerning. Uh, uh, yeah, I apologize, folks. Folks,
They had it at like 6.7 for like 5 minutes, then they upgraded it to 7.6 because the 6.7 rating that was coming from an unreliable scale. So this is still a very large earthquake. It is a 7.6, which is pretty major. Yeah. So yeah, they did upgrade this. It was 6.7 for a moment, but that was unreliable from an unreliable scale that the USGS was using. So 7.6 is still a very large earthquake. So obviously, take this seriously, and this could still very well cause a tsunami, even though it's not, even though it's a strike slip earthquake, because due to underwater landslides and it rupturing other normal faults that are in the area of where it struck, which normal faults can cause large tsunamis. So obviously, if you're in the Cayman Islands, southern Cuba, Jamaica, and the Honduras, take start evacuating.
Now, I will say again, the earthquake's epicenter right now, this one compared to a similar sized one that happened in 2018, the epicenters of those two are about 70 miles apart. This one's actually further to the east on that fault. So it is possible, like what Rainey said just before me, about how the threat, like the earthquake rupture, might have included some normal faults, and as a result, there might be more tsunami-genic capabilities. But again, based on how it looks like from the USGS, it seems to be mostly strike slip, which itself means that it doesn't produce any vertical offset, so no up and down motion of the seafloor. So as a result, that reduces tsunami capabilities. However, with earthquakes, they still cause, underwater landslides. This one, like I said, it could have ruptured a normal fault that could have more tsunami-genic capabilities. So I would say there is still a definite threat, like Rainey said. There's still a definite threat of pretty significant tsunami waves. I wouldn't say anything too crazy, but I would just say overall to everyone along the affected areas, I would say just stay away from the coastline, stay out of the water. Make sure, like, if you're like in a resort or anything, like at a hotel, just go up a few floors. Make sure, just in case, go up a few floors. But yeah. I did see a report earlier that someone felt the shaking in Cancun, and earthquakes of this size can also be felt in Miami too, believe it or not. So
Supposedly someone yeah, I mean there was some stations, I mean, as far as Kentucky that were feeling these. I mean, you're gonna get stuff like that all the time.
And right now, the USG has the depth of this earthquake at 10 kilometers, which is not the real depth because when they are still figuring out the actual depth, they just set around that range. So if you see 10
100
kilometers,
kilometers deep.
I mean,
That's a little too much.
like, I don't think
I
this
would
area.
I would say what the USGS had it at before was like 30 kilometers. I think that's more realistic.
Yeah,
Because before they switched it from 8.0 to 6.7 back to 7.6, it was at 33 kilometers deep, and I think that's more realistic. So somewhere like 20, 30 kilometers deep, I would say.
Yep.
what was the depth of the earthquake in 2018? Do you know?
I can pull that up. It
The
was
one around this area.
19. It was 19 kilometers or 11.8 miles deep.
So
Okay, so just disregard what I said earlier.
is probably close to what.
Also, based on the shaking intensity, we haven't really talked about that, but based on the shaking intensity, it is far away from the coastlines, far enough away to where the damaging shaking will have been reduced. However, I still believe that some weaker to moderate shaking probably still got onto like Honduras or whatever. So I believe houses along the eastern coast might suffer some cracks and stuff like that.
That is pretty typical in this size of an earthquake, actually. So, no worries. My name is Nathan. I run Global Quake, and so I'm pretty knowledgeable in the realm of earthquakes and how they function and all that. So far, this has been a crazy, crazy earthquake.
Yeah, and in case anyone doesn't know what Global Quake is a program that tracks earthquakes real time as they are happening, detects them and tracks them in real time as they are happening. And I would say to anyone who lives in any seismic prone areas or, just is enthusiastic about earthquakes and enjoys reading about them and such, definitely download the Global Quake program. It's very, 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 very helpful. It's a very, 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 very helpful resource, and I would recommend you downloading it or going to their YouTube channel and watching their live stream.
Thank you. Yes, our live stream is currently up. It is tracking the aftershocks from this large earthquake. So far, there's been not that many. The largest one being, from what I'm seeing, a 5-point aftershock. So typically in this size range, we're going to see something around a 6.2 probably type aftershock. That is probably going to be the max size that we're going to see from this type of an earthquake. But do expect a lot of magnitude 5s and up to be happening in the next few days. That is going to be typical from this size of an earthquake. It is, however, a strike slip, so that is still going to be affecting the type of aftershock frequency. It is a little bit less than usual.
I will say, Nathan.
Do not worry to anyone.
I will say, Nathan, your microphone's kind of low on the live stream. Do you mind coming a little closer or readjusting it? I can barely hear on the live stream. I'm just letting you know.
Is this better?
That's very, very good. Yes.
Okay, there you go. So yeah, it is in the magnitude 7.6 range, which means that it's going to have quite a few aftershocks. Typically, we're going to see something around the 6.2 as a max of this range, maybe even the low 6, 5.7. High 5s are going to happen around 5.2. They're going to happen regularly for the next 3 days and around this area. And for anyone that are worried of a tsunami threat, there is no tsunami threat from this earthquake. It is likely going to be unnoticeable to most people on the shore. There's if a wave is to be generated, it will likely only be a couple centimeters. Strike slips do not tend to cause any tsunami because they are untsunamigenic. Strike slip earthquakes are the side-by-side movement of two faults, and you want the up and down movement to create a tsunami. So this is good news in terms of everyone in the area. It is not expected to create any tsunami threat whatsoever. However, there is still the possibility of the shaking generating a underwater landslide that causes a large chunk of land to slide down, which that causes a displacement in the water, which could generate a tsunami. So it is something that we should all be paying attention to. I know that the National Oceanic, anyways, the NOAA is keeping an eye on it. I don't know what they have said. Is anyone up to date on what the tsunami threat of this is?
I know they ruled out the possibility of tsunami for anywhere on the lower 48 states of America. So, like,
That is
the Gulf
good.
of Mexico.
Yep, I'm seeing this. So the areas that have been labeled as a potential threat for tsunami are the Bahamas, the Cayman Islands, Cuba, Jamaica, Haiti, the Honduras on the east coast of Nicaragua, Belize on the east coast, Guatemala apparently. I don't believe that is to be like that has any threat. There is currently an advisory for Puerto Rico and the U.S. Virgin Islands on the coast. I believe that we should all be careful if anyone is in any local coastal area.
Someone in
careful.
the I'm sorry to interrupt, but someone in the comments said that paranoia is cute AF. Ma'am or sir, I don't know if you're aware of any previous earthquakes that are similar to this, but there have been strike slip earthquakes that have caused significant tsunamis that have killed people, and so it's not paranoia; it's genuine concern. For example, 2018 Sulawesi 7.5 on the island of Sulawesi, in part of Indonesia, created a 10-meter tsunami that killed quite a few people. So
Like
it's not
5,000
paranoia.
5,000 people.
Yeah. So it's not paranoia. It can very well happen.
There's genuinely a risk here. The experts have also issued warnings. This is not something that should be taken lightly. This is a real risk and a real danger, not paranoia, not anything like it. This is a warning. So I think everyone should take this immediately at face value that there is a risk of a tsunami happening. This is
You can
higher
look it
than
up
a
too.
watch. It is
You
an
can look it up
advisory.
too. You can look it up too. 2018 Sulawesi. You can look that up too.
Sulawesi was a immediately like dangerous situation. Not quite immediately, but it was a great example of how strike slip earthquakes can cause dangerous, damaging tsunamis. And Sulawesi is a great example of whenever the ground shakes and you're on the coast, get to higher ground.
Matter of fact,
Regardless of anything you think of, get to higher ground.
Sulawesi was so dangerous that the tsunami in some places arrived within minutes after the shaking.
In this situation, I don't think we're going to see something along that line. It is still rather far from the coastline. It would be more of like a 30 to 40-minute wait time for the waves to actually arrive to the area. So there's no time to waste on chance or anything like it. So please get out as soon as possible.
By the way, if anyone has any questions, please do leave them, and we will try to cover them. I do see some people are trying to like ask questions. So yeah, if you want to leave any questions, please do.
Yes.
And if we are talking over each other, apologies, but we kind of can't predict when we're going to talk over each other. So that's something that we will try to prevent, but you'll also have to kind of deal with. So sorry, but yeah. Okay, Steel Toad asked who would get hit first. Would that be the Cayman Islands if There was
Yes,
a
Cayman
tsunami.
Islands. The Cayman Islands are directly within the zone. If there was to be a tsunami, the second hit will likely be the east coast of Jamaica and the northern east
Okay.
coast of Honduras.
You mean the west coast of Jamaica?
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
The west coast of Jamaica and the northeastern coast of Honduras. Nicaragua would follow suit, as well as Cuba, which would then start seeing waves abnormally high if there was to be a tsunami. Now, all of this remains speculative. There's not been any confirmed tsunami yet. So I would like everyone to just keep that in mind, that there is no confirmation on any tsunami yet. I'm trying to pull up a live buoy monitor to see if we can.
Someone asked, so no tsunami. Again, the earthquake itself probably won't create a pretty significant tsunami. However, secondary effects from it, like landslides, underwater landslides, that will displace water and that will create a tsunami. However, again, that is also speculative. We don't know if an underwater landslide has happened until we actually see the tsunami hitting.
The
So
data is not yet out. We are still tracking the data and trying to see if there will be a tsunami.
yeah.
As soon as an earthquake happens of this size, tsunami advisories are immediately put out, because an earthquake of this size can and has created tsunamis in the past. So immediately, advisories are put out, and then they start tracking the data. And so we'll see if any buoys move. Typically, during a tsunami, the buoys will go up and then down by a significant amount, which would then trigger a warning, tsunami warning. I do not believe that there has been any warnings, tsunami warnings issued yet, as this time. But there is advisories that are still that still remain, and I would definitely listen to the advisories and avoid coastal areas until further data can be processed.
Yes, the landslide happens when the earthquake shakes the land. Yes.
Yes, that is how a landslide occurs. I will be right back.
All right. So again, people are asking. One person asked what the depth was. Again, let's see. The USGS has it as 10 kilometers. But that's a pretty like default depth that the USGS
This is
usually
the
puts.
automatic depth.
So
They're
the
calculating.
exact depth we're not yet sure. They'll probably mark it as a little bit deeper, probably like between 20 to 30 kilometers. But yeah, it's still shallow, nevertheless. Yes, so those on the map, those two quakes on the map, those are aftershocks. What you're seeing right now, that's the area where the earthquake happened. So what the program you're seeing right now is an automatic earthquake detection software called Global Quake, and it detects earthquakes as they are happening. And as you see right now, there are two, and yes, those are aftershocks from the 7.6 main shock that you're seeing. So the reason why it keeps changing to other earthquakes is because this is live. This is a live feed. So when the software detects other earthquakes, it will switch to that area. So yeah, sorry if that's inconveniencing anyone, but yeah, that's how the software is set up. Okay, Jeff Cat Buckeye. I'm a big wave surfer in Nicaragua. What kind of swells are we expecting? Are they big enough that I can dip in with our camera crew and get a nice wave to get a shot on? Jeff, I'm gonna be so honest with you. If you wanna have a death wish, you can go right ahead. But you do not get into that. Do not go into the water. Don't
Do not surf tsunamis. It's just not a good idea.
Yeah, just don't. They died. I mean, the impact of the wave probably isn't the part that will kill you. It's the part that where the water recedes and that'll suck you out. So you'll be stuck in the middle of the water and you won't be able to swim out of the grasp of the tsunami wave. So yeah, you're not gonna ride any tsunami wave. It'll just take you wherever it wants to. So yeah, just don't get into the water.
Tsunamis are not something anyone wants to meddle with. They're extremely dangerous. Think about the most deadly incident in the modern times. So past 2000 was the 2004 Sumatra earthquake and tsunami. That killed over 200,000 people. Tsunamis are very dangerous. Not something you want to be anywhere near of. So take all of these warnings extremely seriously.
By the way, David, I did want to say, are you there, David? Can you change the graphic to say breaking and not bricking?
Uh-oh,
Yeah.
looks like there's a technical difficulty in this area. So, currently, as of the National Weather Service is not advising of any further tsunami updates. It's currently showing a threat. The U.S. Virgin Islands and Puerto Rico are still under advisories. So I would still keep caution. We're going to keep tracking this until we get tsunami buoy data in, and we can tell at that point whether a tsunami has been generated or not. And from there, we see how this plays out. So far, there has been a 5.3 and what I think is a 4.2 aftershock to this earthquake. It will keep generating aftershocks for a good while now, and everyone should still expect to be around 6.2. So I would keep watch to see how the situation develops. And yeah.
So someone asked, where was it? Is there any official list of the countries affected? Yes. So, this is what the message from the Pacific Tsunami Warning Center says. It says hazardous tsunami waves from this earthquake are possible within 1,000 kilometers of the epicenter along the coast of the Cayman Islands, Jamaica, Cuba, Mexico, Honduras, Bahamas, San Andres Providence, Belize, Haiti, Costa Rica, Panama, Nicaragua, and Guatemala. So there you go.
This is a very dangerous situation nonetheless, though it is a evolving situation. Yeah. Let's see what we have going on here. Again, I am trying to get access to the buoys. I have no data yet. I will let you guys know if we have any data from live buoys in the area.
All right. Someone in the comments said that it's an 8.0. If you look at the USGS event page, it says 7.6. It was downgraded. It's no longer an 8.0.
No, it was not an 8.0, and Global Quake was actually pretty good on this detection. It showed 7.6 pretty much instantly and has stuck to 7.6. And now agencies have gone from reporting 8.0 to 6.7 down up to 7.6. So right now, the final magnitude has been shown to be 7.6. That is MWW, so it is official. It is the moment magnitude of this earthquake and is been officialized. Tsunami information is covered by NOAA, so that is also been officialized, but has yet to been updated in terms of whether there is a threat to a tsunami or not. But there is not going to be a large-scale tsunami. It's more going to be a small-scale tsunami. If it would be anything, we're looking at maybe 20-centimeter wave. So it's not going to be anything major.
By the way, anyone who's leaving any comments about God's wrath or harp or whatever else, just know you're gonna get blocked on the live stream. You're not gonna be able to comment anymore because we won't like allow that. We won't allow you to post stuff like that. We don't believe in that stuff, and it's just a bunch of fear mongering and conspiracies that are not based on any actual scientific evidence. So yeah, you're gonna get blocked.
If anyone has genuine questions about this earthquake, what caused this earthquake, and anything along those lines, we are completely open for answering any type of questions. We
Oh,
understand that there's gone.
hold on. I do want to say real quick. So someone in the comments, in the chat says, I'm in Aguadilla, Puerto Rico, West Coast on a cliff. He says sirens are ongoing right now.
In Puerto Rico. A lot of times, yes, they take advisories very seriously, and even it's typical that most countries, an advisory is enough for sirens to go off. However, yeah. Yes, currently Puerto Rico is under what is called a tsunami. I don't think it's even an advisory. I think it's higher than an advisory what they're on. Yes, actually, yeah, no, it's a advisory, which is the highest level warning under warning. So the way that NOAA, its U.S. tsunami warning system operates, is that you have a threat, a watch, an advisory, and a warning. The max being the warning, the least being a threat. Currently, the United States has placed the U.S. Virgin Islands and the area of Puerto Rico under an advisory as a precautionary measure in case a tsunami is generated from this earthquake. That will cause tsunami sirens to go off, meaning that you should very likely listen to all of the official alerts, which are going to be to avoid coastal areas and rivers, as they are the likely places where tsunamis will be generated. So far, there has been no abnormal buoy activity, but that is not to mean that we are in the clear. Landslides can happen at any time, and they can happen randomly. That is normal. So, given these big earthquakes, we need to stay alert and keep an eye out whether a tsunami is generated or not.
I'm back, folks. So one of the questions we've been getting a lot is what do the colored dots mean? So what you're looking at here is the representation of the previous aftershocks. The scale goes from green to red, and pretty much what you're seeing here is this big red circle, which is the actual main shock. Then the darker orange, which was I believe the 5.8, and
yes, that was a 5.8.
Then the orange one,
smaller circles.
Then the orange one was like the 5.5 or 5.4. Then the yellow one was the 5.3. So this is just a color scale to show what the strengths of these aftershocks have been.
Yeah. So this is Global Quake that you're seeing. This is a earthquake detection software system that I am the co-owner of. Basically, what it's showing currently is that the colorful dots on the land masses are seismographs. The circles that you see are a representation of the old earthquakes, the largest one being the red circle, which was the 7.6 that just struck. And the areas you can see are the countries that we have currently access to seismic data from. So we are going to see, thanks to these seismographs, we're going to see where the next earthquake is going to hit, and it's going to display this in real time for all of you to see. And we'll know right away if any large earthquakes or large aftershocks are going to hit this region. Unfortunately, it does not have any buoy data. Please don't confuse this as buoy data. But this is something that we're going to have to follow individually. And
Daryl
thank you,
W.
Daryl.
Hughes, thank you for the $1. Thank you so much. We
Yes.
appreciate that.
Thank you for the donations. Any donations, we are all like volunteering
Yeah.
based. So this is a completely volunteer based information live stream. So
But we use official
Yeah.
sources.
we use as official as we can. A lot of people are going to fearmonger and try and say things that are not true, because it did become a bit of a overestimated earthquake at the beginning, as the USGS preliminarily sent out a magnitude of 8.0, which was completely wrong. It was not an 8.0. I knew that right away. Global Quake is usually on the spot for these type of earthquakes, and it was. It showed 7.6, and when the USGS sent out an 8.0 preliminary size, I knew that it was likely to be incorrect, and indeed it was. So now that it's been corrected to being a 7.6, people are starting to still recover from the shock. A lot of people are going to say it was an 8.0 and that there is a definite tsunami warning. But this is all speculative. The buoys are going to be the biggest source of information for us at this point to see whether it or not it will generate a tsunami of that size. So we will see. I do not believe that this is anything to be majorly concerned about. The buoys are so far showing no abnormal data, and so I believe that these tsunami advisories will likely, and this is all speculative.
Pam, thank you for the $1.99. We really appreciate it.
We thank any donations is just genuinely appreciated from anyone.
Someone
Okay,
also asked
so hold on.
a little while ago. Someone. Okay, my bad.
Sorry, I just want to disclose right now. So we've just gotten the NOAA's scale ranking of how these tsunami warnings, advisories, and watches go. So the reason why the sirens are going off in Puerto Rico was because of the advisory. The advisory has more urgency than the watch. Sorry. So the reason why the sirens are out is because with the advisory, the action is to stay out of water and away from the shore. And the hazard is that strong currents and dangerous waves are likely within or near coastal waters, and that they could expect 1 to 3 feet worth of waves. That's what that means.
Yeah. You could also, David, you could also pull up the tsunami graphic if you want to put it on the screen for a little while, if you want to do that too.
And for those talking about the buoys currently in event mode, there's only a single buoy showing anything in the Gulf of Mexico.
Seeker, thank you for the 5.
Thank you.
Again, all donations are highly appreciated. Thank you so much for these. Just want to continue to report on what we're getting at. There has been some reports. I mean, for example, on the chat, we got a report of people reporting sirens around Puerto Rico. These are going to be obvious. Obviously, these are going to be happening, especially with a threat as huge. Well, not huge, but you know what I mean, as serious as this. I believe that this is the first time in quite a while that a tsunami advisory was issued. I think possibly since the 2020 earthquake sequence in Puerto Rico. I could be wrong, though. So, yeah, to reiterate what's going on, again, a tsunami threat
Wait,
is.
I have breaking news. I have breaking news. Update. All tsunami alerts have been canceled except for Cuba, Honduras, and the Cayman Islands, Puerto Rico, and the Virgin Islands.
So, like I said, there is no risk likely to occur from this. So far, the data is saying that the bulletin has actually been upgraded.
Oh.
Let me just read what the bulletin is saying. Okay, tsunami threat forecast updated. Tsunami waves reaching 1 to 3 meters above tide level are possible along some coastal areas of Cuba. Tsunami waves reaching 0.3 to 1 meters above tidal levels are possible in coastal areas of Honduras and the Cayman Islands. Actual amplitudes at the coast may vary from forecast amplitudes due to uncertainties in the forecast and local features of the geography. In particular, maximum tsunami amplitudes on atolls, reefs, will likely be much smaller than the forecast indicates, and all other areas covered by this new bulletin are cleared from any risk. So, as it stands, we have a warning for the Cayman Islands of a possible tsunami of 0.3 to 1 meters, and coast of Cuba from 1 to 3 meters. That is a 1 meter to 3 meter tsunami. And that is a new bulletin that has been released.
David, are you there, David?
Yeah, I'm doing.
Do you mind? You're using Discord, right, for the stream, right?
Yeah.
Can you raise the volumes of some of us, because a lot of people are reporting that they
Wait.
still can't hear us.
It's
Nathan, I have a
raised,
question.
but
Nathan, I have a question.
Yeah,
Why would
what's
the tsunami warning for Cuba be higher, even though the Cayman Islands are closer to the earthquake than Cuba?
Yes, so that is a very good question, and that has to do with the type of geography. From what I'm seeing, it is likely because of the fact that the Cayman Islands are on the top of the trench, and so given the fact that the ocean bottom geography is very deep, leading to the Cayman Islands, it won't funnel tsunami waves the same way that Cuba, which it's very gradual ocean bottom rise, would funnel most of the waves and result in a higher tsunami run-up. So the areas with more tsunami-prone geology are going to be naturally exposed to higher tsunami waves. This has been observed many places, including Sumatra and Tohoku. That's 2004, the 9.1 earthquake, and 2011, 9.1 in Japan. Those two have also created large tsunamis, which have been observed not to be at the highest run-up height. So the highest wave wasn't necessarily observed at the closest point from the earthquake hypocenter. It's all very, very dependent on how the ocean bottom geography is laid out. And given the fact that Cuba has a very gradual rise to the landmass, it has a higher probability of generating a higher wave. So I'm going to repeat again. As it stands, Cuba has a advisory of a 1 to 3 meter tsunami threat.
Carl,
The
thank you for the
coast
5.
of Cuba is expected to possibly, not expected, this is still a threat bulletin. The bulletin reads that
Ark, thank you for
there's
the 500.
500?
I think it's in Filipino pesos. I'm not entirely sure.
any donation is greatly appreciated. But yes, it is currently stated in the bulletin an earthquake. Yes, that part has already been cleared. So it says that a tsunami wave reaching 1 to 3 meters above the tide level are possible along the coast of Cuba. So it's only a possibility at the moment. However, we're going to be monitoring this situation to see if any waves are really generated and pose any threat to coastal communities within the Caribbean.
Oh yeah, do we have arrival times for the Cayman
So
Islands in Cuba?
M in the chat asked where the hell would all those people go? So in a tsunami, the best place to go is just anywhere that's higher up than the sea level basically. So that could be a Oh, my bad. So in that case, just the hotel buildings, like the resort buildings, like reinforced concrete buildings. That's basically the best place to go in that situation.
Any
Reinforced
form
concrete
of
buildings.
yes, again, reinforced concrete. A lot of it is still a peninsula, so it is still at risk. However, any elevated position is the best you can go to. If you are faced with any form of tsunami threat, just look for whatever is the tallest thing around you and try and go for it.
Do we have arrival times for the Cayman Islands in Cuba?
Currently, the tsunami bulletin does not have any estimates on the arrival time. I'm going to check again. Okay, so we have a preliminary estimation for a new bulletin has been issued for the U.S. Virgin Islands, and it reads as follows. Based on all available data, there is a tsunami threat to Puerto Rico and the Virgin Islands of sea level fluctuating and strong ocean currents that could be a hazard along the coast, beaches, in harbors, and in coastal waters. The earliest estimation time that hazardous sea level fluctuations and strong ocean currents may begin in Puerto Rico and the U.S. Virgin Islands is 9:46 p.m. AST on Saturday, February 8th, 2025. Actions to protect human life, safety, and property should be taken immediately. The generation of tsunami waves has not yet been confirmed. Again, the National Oceanic Administration has just said that the generation of tsunami waves has not yet been confirmed. Tsunami forecast does not show a threat to Puerto Rico and the U.S. Virgin Islands. However, we are still waiting for sea level data to confirm this forecast. So that is the evaluation from the recent issued bulletin from NOAA, which is yes. So that is the
Someone did
national.
ask. My bad.
Go on.
I just wanted to say someone asked if Aruba is in any danger.
Which area? Aruba?
Yeah, Aruba. I think Aruba is really far away. Yeah, that's
No,
north of Venezuela.
Aruba is likely not to be in danger. They updated the forecast to say that there is no extra countries, but the countries listed as followed. And I repeat, Cuba, the Cayman Islands, the U.S. Virgin Islands, and Puerto Rico. Those are the areas that are expected to have warnings or advisories. The rest have been cleared from any danger. So the threat only remains for the Cayman Islands and Cuba. So still, if you are in that area, please evacuate as soon as possible. If you are close to the shore, don't take this lightly. Rather be safe than sorry, and please move to higher ground.
By the way, David, you're okay. All right. So whoever, yeah, that's fine. It's fine. So someone said 8 meters to hit Cuba. I don't know where your source is, but that's not true.
So
William, thank you, William, for the $4.99. He asks, my wife is in Cancun. Can you provide feedback on that region? It seems strange that Cuba has potential impacts, but not Cancun.
yes, so Cancun, Mexico is not going to be in any risk. because it is not directly facing any of the fault lines. It's kind of parallel with the fault line at the moment, so I don't think that Cancun would be getting much of anything. Most of the waves, if they were generated, they would be generated by a landslide along the fault line. The fault line is a east to west fault line, so any landslide would create waves north to south, meaning from this earthquake's epicenter, the Cayman Islands and Cuba are the only things north, and current data shows no threat to the south. So Cancun being in the northwest is very unlikely to have any threat. On top of that, Cancun also has many island chains on the edge of it, so it creates a large boundary of protection. Cancun, I do not believe, is in any form of tsunami threat. If there is any waves that would arrive in Cancun, it will likely be around the 20 centimeters or 5 inches mark. So it is nothing outside of the ordinary. There's not currently any threat. And from the data that we're seeing, the only places that have a possibility of a tsunami would be Cuba and the Cayman Islands. But even then, it is only a possibility. There's nothing confirmed yet, and we are still waiting on the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration to confirm this data and give out a bulletin with actual buoy information to track whether or not this is a tsunami generating earthquake.
Also, somebody asked, what about Belize? So Nathan, can you answer that too?
Belize?
Yeah.
Belize is not at all in any risk either.
And then someone asked Colombia, which no.
Colombia's on the other side of the entire. No, nothing is at risk.
What's the status? What's the status on the tsunami? I'm just wondering.
So currently, the most recent bulletin has said that the generation of tsunami waves has not yet been confirmed, and that the forecast does not show a threat for Puerto Rico and the Virgin Islands, but are still waiting on sea level data to confirm the forecast. The forecast
perfect.
is still developing. This is a developing situation. We do not have a sure answer yet. We are going to be waiting on officials to confirm this data before we make any more news updates for you guys.
Okay, is the thumbnail still the tsunami? Because I can change it.
Yeah, it's still the one that you made
Okay,
originally.
I'll change it and give me a minute.
All right. Someone asked about Jamaica. Eastern coast, no. Western coast, Nathan. What do
The
you
coast
say?
of Jamaica?
Western
Unlikely.
Coast of Jamaica, yeah.
Western coast of Jamaica is still unlikely. Again, we're looking at majoritarily a north to south tsunami, if anything has been generated, given the fact that this earthquake happened along a fault line that only supports a north-facing landslide. The area on the ocean bottom has been extensively mapped, and given its geology, the only form of landslide that would be possible would be a north-facing landslide. So that is why currently the tsunami warning stands for the Cayman Islands, not the warning. I correct myself. The tsunami threat only stands for the Cayman Islands and the southern coast of Cuba. That is the only area that is currently under a threat.
Yeah. So if anybody has any family or friends that are in the impacted areas, someone said that nobody's covering this right now. If you want to share this coverage, this live stream with them, so that they are aware of what's going on, please go ahead and do that, and we would really appreciate it. And yeah, it would just be really really good.
It would help. It would help spread awareness.
Yeah.
What is the issue with like other channels? Like, why do they not cover earthquakes? Like, I swear we're the only ones half the time.
Well, I've only I'm only aware of one other channel currently covering this, but I'm not gonna mention it by name. Currently, no, it's a different person, but
Dutchins.
no,
Dutchins.
no, it's
Okay, and
different.
okay. Anyways, so
Doesn't
yes,
matter.
someone brought up that it's possible that they're covering Santorini. That because everyone has eyes on Santorini.
Global Quake is currently covering Santorini. So Santorini is still the center of attention, given the fact that it's been having a very intense earthquake swarm in the past few weeks. So that has been the center of the attention. But now, given this new 7.5, 7.6 in the area, it is definitely going to be the center of attention for a little bit. I don't think there will be any major aftershocks. Generally speaking, strike slips tend to have a less bad aftershock sequence in terms of major earthquakes compared to thrust type earthquakes or even normal faulting earthquakes. It obviously depends on other parameters like what the slip rate was and other things like that. That will be reviewed over time. We still don't know much information about those type of parameters because this is still a evolving situation. So we'll see when those parameters come out. So I'm trying to look now. I believe a new bulletin has been released. No, so we're still on the watch number 3 bulletin,
I'm
which
almost
is
done with
the
the
most
thumbnail, by
recent
the way,
one.
David. I am because I yeah I just don't. Oh wait, are you like okay? Okay.
Some good news
Right.
is that
So
I've been searching for any videos of damage from the earthquake, and I haven't found any damage or any videos of strong shaking, so I guess that's a good sign.
So
yeah.
a tectonic summary has just been released. The USGS quotes on February 8th, 2025, a magnitude 7.6 earthquake southwest of the Cayman Islands occurred as a result of strike slip faulting, that is side to side faulting, in the shallow crust near the boundary between the North American and Caribbean plate. Fulcrum mechanism solutions indicate that the rupture occurred on a steeply dipping structure striking either west-northwest, right lateral,
Who
or west-northwest, or
who has the thumbnail?
west-southwest.
Who can change the thumbnail? It's Mike, right?
I can.
Yeah, I can change it too.
Yeah, I gave it to Mike. I gave it to Mike. Also, I'm gonna
Okay,
change the
so
description too as well. I'll give you the new
All
description.
right. All right.
at the location of this earthquake, the North American plate moves to the west-southwest in respect to the Caribbean plate at a rate of approximately 20 millimeters per year. Local to the February 8th, 2025 earthquake, this motion is predominantly accommodated along the Swan Island Transform Fault, a left lateral structure. The location, depth, and focal mechanism solution of today's earthquake are consistent with rupture occurring along this plate boundary structure or on a nearby and closely related fault. So basically, what they're trying to say so far is that this is a very common type earthquake. Everything has been so far very consistent with what we would expect from this area. So I don't believe this is to cause any significant concern, anything higher than the norm. So there will be still probably within the typical aftershock sequence. We'll keep an eye out to see if there's anything new happening.
Right. If anyone has any questions, feel free to leave them in the chat. We will try our best to answer as many as possible. Um,
Cancun, yes, Cancun is likely going to be okay. Cancun is directly west to the earthquake. It is unlikely that any type of tsunami generated would reach out west. It would mostly be north facing, given the fault is running on a cliff side, underwater cliff side, and that cliff is mostly north facing. So if there would be a underwater landslide that generates a tsunami, it would create a tsunami towards the north. If there is anything, so far we have not gotten any confirmation on whether or not a tsunami has been generated. We are still keeping an eye on this. It is still a evolving situation, and we'll see if there's anything generated.
also, someone asked from Maya Wiz. I think that's in Puerto Rico. Should I evacuate?
In Puerto Rico, if you are hearing sirens, I suggest you tune into your local information stations and listen to local and regional medias to see what your course of action should be. Puerto Rico has advised that there is currently a tsunami advisory, which means to be on alert in case of evacuations. Based on the current, uh, the most recent news, it says here, evaluation is, no, the recommended actions here. They recommend to protect human life, safety, and property will vary within the tsunami advisory area. Persons located in or near the ocean should move out of the water, off the beaches, and away from harbors, marinas, bays, and inlets. Do not go to the shore to observe the tsunami. Do not return to evacuated areas until all clear is given by local authorities. Where?
Yeah,
Aruba is safe.
we've stated Aruba is safe. Yeah.
It says here, do not go to the shore, do not return, be alert, and follow instructions from local emergency management officials because they may have more detailed or specified information for your location. Boaters, where time and condition permit, move your boat out to sea to a depth of at least 450 feet. If
Mike, is
at
that okay?
sea, avoid entering shallow waters, harbors, marinas, bays, and inlets to avoid floating and submerged debris and strong currents. That is currently the recommended action from the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. That is a recent bulletin they have released. So given that, I suggest that you guys just tune in to whatever local information you have. Definitely keep in touch with what's happening. If there's anything of concern, get out of the area. If they're saying evacuate, evacuate. Do not question this. This is genuinely a situation that could be very dangerous. So I highly recommend you tune into local emergency information centers and judge what your next move would be based on that information.
Mike, that's the new metadata, by the way.
All right. All right.
Use all of it, by the way. Just
Okay.
with the last part where it says tags, just get rid of the.
Yeah.
Oh wait,
Yeah.
get rid
Yeah.
of the
Yes.
brackets. Yeah. There you go.
Yes.
Where it says SEO. Done. Thank you.
I saw a comment it's really ironic. Someone said earlier, "Oh my God, 7.8 in Greece right now from Santorini." What you see right now on our live stream is global quake, so it would automatically detect if that were the case, and it did not detect it. So yeah, you're just wrong. I don't know where you're getting your sources from, but yeah.
God, I love Mike.
All right. It's
No,
just
but it's
funny.
good. I like
Just
it. I like it. He's combating it.
it's just funny. It's funny to address them. It's just funny.
No, he's setting the record straight. He's owning these guys. So please behave in the chat. Don't be silly.
Given how things are evolving, we do not yet know. No new bulletin has been released. We're keeping an eye out, however. I believe we'll probably get one shortly. It will probably announce either the confirmation or cancellation of any tsunami advisory or threat to the areas mentioned.
I do see video. I can't speak. I'm seeing a video right now of waves crashing over something in Honduras, and they're saying anomalous waves or whatever.
Let me
Yeah, I
have a
David,
look
saw
at
that
it. Do you
too.
send it?
Sorry, Mike. Can you
Yeah, I can
add
send it.
the metadata?
Where
Yes,
did you
yes, I
send it?
will.
Okay, thank you. Thank
I'll send it in the group discussion.
Okay.
you. Yeah, no, but you have the palette to edit it, right?
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
Arids, message me this stuff and stop talking about it in the stream, please.
My bad.
Yeah,
I just
so
want to make
far it
sure
does
we're
not look
accurate.
Yes, Arids, yes. Okay, I get
this
it.
this does somewhat resemble possible anomalous waves. I do not believe it to be so, however. We're gonna have to wait on official confirmation from the agencies to see what this is. So so
Yeah.
far it's looking like it could be a tsunami generating earthquake. I do believe that it is. Likely going to be a very small tsunami, around probably the size of a couple of centimeters, nothing major. So we're going to keep an eye out on things and see how it goes.
Yeah. Uh,
Yeah, sorry.
right. So, let's see. Again, if any of you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the chat. How big a tsunami on the U.S. Gulf of Mexico coast? So again, Mexico has been excluded from the tsunami warning list of countries. So they are not expecting any hazardous waves in the Mexico on the Gulf of Mexico coast.
Yes, so far the coast of Mexico is not expected to have anything. So no worries in terms of that. I don't believe there's anything to be expected from it.
Oh, I do remember. I do remember. A ton of people were asking. I remember a ton of people were asking, "Is this tectonic or volcanic?" And guys, it's tectonic. It's
This is
tectonic.
completely tectonic.
Yes.
In nature, this is tectonic. It is the typical slip between two faults. So this is normal. I don't believe this is outside of the ordinary. So we shouldn't expect anything but aftershocks from this type of earthquake. I don't even think there's going to be any more earthquakes of its size. Given this area, it has a 20 millimeter per year average slip rate. So that is, typical in that area to see once every couple dozens of years a earthquake of this within the expected range of earthquake size. It is not going to cause any volcano. It's not going to cause anything worrying. So
Also, Taryn did bring this up.
what they're looking at right now?
Yeah, so right now you're looking at the Cayman Islands. The camera that we have pulled up is from the Cayman Islands.
Yes.
Taryn did bring up one interesting thing that I think some people who are interested in geology and earthquakes and such would be interested in hearing. He said that today's earthquake marks the completion of a near complete rupture of the Swan Islands Motagua fault zone. The first major earthquake, MW 7.5 in 1976, ruptured the onshore section in Guatemala, which killed 23,000 people. In 2009, an MW 7.3 ruptured off the coast of Honduras near Guatemala. And then another MW 7.5 struck near the Swan Islands in 2018, and thus marks the complete rupture or the near complete rupture of that fault zone.
Yes. 1917 near Cuba. What?
Oh, on the camera.
Yes.
I think
don't
people.
believe they have.
I think people are chilling.
Yeah, they
people-
look like they're
Yeah.
having a very good time
I
right now.
saw
out for
there's
dinner.
there's another live camera I'm looking at from a beach, but we can't use it because it's from a different site that you can't like use on OBS, but whatever. There are like people at the beach just like chilling right now.
Yeah.
But I've been monitoring that camera for the past like 30 minutes and I haven't seen any changes in the sea level, so that's something.
So someone asked, "What is the earthquake looking like in Greece? Do you think it's gonna wipe out Israel and the Gaza Strip with a tsunami? Whose fault is it?"
So, the earthquake swarm in Santorini, Greece, right now is nothing to be concerned of. So far, it's slowing down and it is showing to be reducing in frequency and size. So, I do not believe any action needs to be taken for it. And even for the volcano, there's been no signs of magmatic intrusions. However, some of the earthquakes have reached the MMI limit to cause volcanic intrusions, so that is closely being monitored by officials. So, no, Israel and the Gaza Strip are not going to be affected by anything from Greece. You're good.
Yeah.
I assume you are speaking from Israel or the Gaza Strip? No, you're not? Sounds good. So yeah. Currently we are keeping an eye out on the earthquake that just happened.
Yeah. My uncle is in Cancun on vacation. Will they be okay? Yes, he'll be okay.
Yes, everyone in Cancun will be okay. There's no signs of any tsunamis in that area. I would stay vigilant, however, but I don't think there's anything to be majorly worried about.
And someone asked about the submarine. I assume they mean the submarine landslide.
Yes.
I think
So-
I think that if there were a significant tsunami caused by this, we would have seen signs of it by now. I'm gonna just leave it at that. I think we would have seen signs of it by now.
No.
It's possible. Actually, what is possible is the submarine landslide can occur way after the earthquake, which I guess, I mean, that could theoretically happen, and it would kind of catch people off guard. I've never seen it personally happen, but I guess it's possible. So I would say, in my opinion, I would say just avoid, if you're along the coastline in the affected areas, just avoid the water for the next like 24 to 48 hours. That's what I would say. Might be hard for some people who are on vacation and want to enjoy the sunshine and the the ocean, but better be safe than sorry.
Yes, definitely better be safe than sorry. It is currently the night, so there's not much you'll be missing out on. Just avoid the coast generally. It is not safe and it is not worth risking your life for. So please, um, avoid these areas.
Yeah. So again, guys, the 8.0 number that we got was from it was preliminary, and it was not immediately, but it was pretty soon changed afterwards. It is no longer an 8.0 on the official USGS event page. It is 7.6. Belize will not be affected by any tsunami.
The only
Belize
countries
City.
affected are, I repeat, going to be the Cayman Islands, Cuba, Puerto Rico, and the U.S. Virgin Islands. However, Puerto Rico and the U.S. Virgin Islands are currently issuing warnings only as a precautionary measure. There is currently no evidence of any danger for any of those areas.
The U.S. will not see any tsunami waves. We're fine. Us Americans will be fine. Don't worry. Us Americans will be fine. Trinidad and Tobago will also be fine. And as for the people on the cruise ships, they will also be fine because tsunamis will not. It won't be like the movie Poseidon or whatever it was with a giant wave crashing into the cruise ship.
Oh yeah, that's so unrealistic.
Tsunami waves over open water it'll just go underneath the ship if it's far out over open water, far away from the coast. So they'll be fine. Florida will be fine. So no worries about Florida. Let's see. David, are you there? Do you mind pulling up the camera again? Because some people want to see it.
So there you go, guys. As you can see, there's no danger to most of the buoys. Are showing currently, no danger.
Again, no warning, no danger to Belize. Again, no danger to Belize. Bermuda will not be affected by any tsunami waves either. Nathan, are the Cayman Islands still part of that list of countries or no?
Yes.
Okay, so
Yeah.
Cayman Islands still you should still be on the lookout. Still stay away from the water. You are still cautioned to look out for any potential anomalous hazardous waves. Yeah.
Me as well, very much so. So,
Colombia, the country of Colombia, will not be affected by any tsunami waves. Do not worry about that. If you live in Colombia.
Okay,
Hey,
it's
David.
good new stuff.
David, I'm making a little graphic for you in on my screen if you
Okay,
want to watch it at some point.
the tsunami advisory
When you
for
have
Puerto
time.
Rico and the U.S. Virgin Islands is now canceled.
Okay, good. So
So,
U.S. Virgin
let me
Islands,
read
Puerto
it.
Rico.
Guys, let
And
me
here we
read
go.
the new bulletin.
There was a tsunami.
So
at-
I'm gonna read the bulletin. The evaluation is as follows. An earthquake with a preliminary magnitude of 7.6 occurred. Evaluation of all above data indicates that a destructive tsunami for Puerto Rico and the Virgin Islands was not generated by this earthquake. So,
Is that what could potentially have happened?
not potentially, this is what has been observed. Observations of tsunami activity. I repeat, observations. This is what has been observed. The following are tsunami wave observations from coastal and or deep ocean sea level gauges at the indicated locations. The maximum tsunami height is the highest measured so far. It measures with respect to the tide level. Currently at 8:52 p.m., there has been a measurement of 0.1 feet. So the current max measurement from Mexico is 0.1 feet.
Or 1.2 inches. So
1.2
extremely
inches.
small. Yeah. A 1.2 inch tsunami was generated.
That is very, very small. There's nothing to be worried about, folks. I
Yeah.
still would be cautious around the Cayman Islands and Cuba. Those areas have not yet been hit. If not, then the data is not yet in. So we'll see what has ended up happening in those areas. I am looking at most likely, I would say 20 centimeters and or
I know,
0.7
so-
foot, 0.7 feet. So 0.7 feet would be what I would expect the max run up from this to be. So that is from my experience, and given the fact that I've seen many earthquakes and the tsunami size related to it, I believe that yes, 0.7 feet is what I am making as an estimate.
Yeah, it is to
someone
know
did-
that
Someone did
But-
say that this is the largest in 125 years. I do want to point out that in 2020 there was a 7.7 northeast of where this one happened today. There was a 7.7 southwest of Cuba near the Cayman Islands. So it's definitely not the largest one in over 100
No,
years.
absolutely not. There was one only about 100 kilometers away from it in 2018, measuring a 7.6. So no, it is not the biggest in a long time. This area has been very prone to earthquakes, given the fact that it is a active strike slip region. So I believe that there's a possibility for another earthquake to happen. However, I do not believe it to be likely.
Yes.
So I just read that the USGS has reported a confirmation on why the mistake of showing 6.7 was. They reported the MB and the MWW at the same time and forgot to put the MWW as the main magnitude, and so that's why it showed 6.7.
Yeah.
Crazy coincidence. However, now it is official. It is, in fact, a 7.6.
Y'all are going crazy with the Jesus is coming back comments. Jesus.
This is not a sign
Jesus.
of God. This is not anything like this. This is an earthquake. Yeah, we're good. Don't worry.
Just because a single droplet of rain fell outside does not mean that Jesus is coming back. Relax, everyone. This is normal behavior for that area.
Behavior.
Now, if there was a magnitude 15 earthquake, then you could say that Jesus is coming back, because I would certainly would believe it too. But
I
That
would
is
believe it as
physically
well. At
impossible.
magnitude 15, the Earth would blow up.
It actually would just explode. What?
Yes, it would genuinely explode. At magnitude for 15,
Oh,
or
because it's
15,
logarithmic, isn't it?
yes, it's logarithmic. So at magnitude 15, it exceeds the kinetic energy of the gravitational pull of the Earth, meaning the Earth would basically no longer be held together by Oh, thank you, Roger Bauer,
thank
with the
you,
$2
Roger. I want to be
donation.
more
Thank
than
you.
friends. I want to be more than friends. Thank you, Roger.
Roger, unfortunately, I am not available. So
Roger, I am always available.
Roger, I
So-
too am also available. Hit me
so
up.
at the
I may be
No,
making a
at the
graphic
magnitude
right
of
now.
at the magnitude of 15, the Earth's gravitational pull is overcome, and the Earth would basically disintegrate. So
Why are you so out of breath, Christ?
I'm laughing. This is
Should-
fun. You guys are
Laughing. It sounds like you just went for a run.
I think what Roger said has to be one of the best donations I think we've ever gotten.
Yeah,
just
guys,
just the
if you
comment
donate
itself.
to us, try and donate like Roger.
Okay,
It really
I
helps.
dare
No
you
matter
guys. If anyone wants to beat, oh, thank you, Ocean Blue Heart.
Thank you for the 2.
Ocean Blue, thank you
what did
for
they
the
say?
2.
What did they say?
With
Nothing
the
was said. It was
pair
just a
that's
sticker.
looking blue. Thank you. If anyone wants to beat the most legendary donation, which has been from Roger with the message, I want to be more than friends, feel free. I personally, in my live stream, the best donation I've ever seen was somebody who donated $5 and said hamburger. Nothing more, nothing less, just hamburger.
This
So-
is a
Still
once in a
can't get over the
generation
comment.
hamburger.
So no, and no, people who are saying man-made tsunami, absolutely not. This is not man-made. This is natural. This
Yo,
is
I'm gonna be so for
completely-
real. If y'all continue talking
Right. Hey, Mike.
I have a
Yeah.
question.
What is your question?
So instead of like yelling at these people in chat, why don't we actually try and explain why they're
Wait.
rated?
So a man-made tsunami has never genuinely occurred because
Really?
so far the word tsunami
Yep.
is classifying a natural situation. So
Uh,
anything man-made, even the underwater nuclear tests that they were doing back in the day, were still considered to be a wave from a blast. So they were never called a tsunami. Tsunami, the word stands for harbor wave. It comes from the Japanese word of tsu and nami. So that means harbor wave. And it was originally described as a abnormally large wave striking the harbor. So man-made tsunamis have never really occurred because we've never really made enough displacement to genuinely cause a wave across the entire ocean. More local things like within a lake is possible, but those are not considered tsunami.
See, that was a lot
So,
more
no.
productive, right? Thank you.
Yes. There is no such thing as man-made tsunamis. We do not have the
Means necessary.
there is no mic in any of the chats for anyone wondering.
So Mike, who's Mike?
Somebody
Yeah,
mute
who is
Baba
he?
Buoy, please. Anyways, explain why Greece is going through the same thing right now. No, actually, Greece is not going through the same thing. Greece is currently going through something called a seismic swarm, which is a abnormally high amount of earthquakes occurring. So all of these are around magnitude 4.5, the largest ones being 5.3. These are occurring repeatedly, multiple times a day. For some unknown reason currently, the scientific community has not even found a consensus on what the cause of the Greek seismic storm is. However, an evacuation of Santorini has been issued, so there is not going to be any tourism in Santorini. So, yeah.
Yeah. That's kind
As
of sad.
for this situation, there has not been any new updates apart from the cancellation of any tsunami warnings for the area of Puerto Rico and the U.S. Virgin Islands. So that is a relief.
I'll say the only
And the alarms, the claims of the alarms have been verified. There is, in fact, sirens that were activated in western Puerto Rico as part of a tsunami protocol. However, there was no evacuations, no mandatory evacuations, and it was issued by mistake, and it should not have been issued. The sirens should not have went off. That happens, especially given these dynamic situations. The sirens were set off mistakenly for something that is a tsunami advisory instead of a tsunami warning. So, yes, for those talking about it, yeah. So for those talking about Greece being volcanic, no. Currently, there is not enough evidence to suggest that it is volcanic. In a volcanic earthquake swarm, many things are to be observed because if it is volcanic, it would mean that a significant amount of magma would be pushing through the ground and causing these earthquakes. However, there has been no measurements. We cannot find any changes from ground level. Like there's no uplift, meaning the ground has not moved. So there is no magma moving. However, now, because of how many earthquakes have happened, it's shooken the ground enough that the ground has started moving, and that is called earthquake-induced volcanism. That happens often where enough earthquakes and strong enough earthquakes have happened to create movement in the ground that supports magma to rise to the surface. And so it is possible that the Greek seismic swarm will have a volcanic side to it, but that is still to be determined and is not something we are currently looking at. We are currently looking at the tsunami threat for the Cayman Islands and Cuba.
I'll say that I've been searching online for any like damage or videos from this earthquake, and the only thing I've seen is just minor shaking, like pools sloshing around and like chandeliers swaying. So no, it doesn't seem to be there was any major violent shaking from this earthquake, just rather weak shaking.
The Pacific Tsunami Warning Center has issued a forecast polygon for the area. Currently, the areas of northern Honduras and the Cayman Islands are the areas with an expected 0.3 to 1 meter tsunami possible, only possible. The southern side of Cuba are a possible 1 to 3 meter tsunami. The likelihood of these happening are not very likely. It is only a possibility at the moment. So I'll take all of this information with a grain of salt. Anything can happen. So keep an eye out, listen to official sources, and we'll keep seeing how this situation evolves and if there will be anything significant that will come from it. So far, it is looking like nothing significant will come from it. It will probably be canceled. The warnings will be canceled later on, and then everything will go back to normal. The only measured tsunami wave has been, let's see, 0.1 feet. 0.1 feet is the latest measurement for tsunami waves. I do not believe anything bigger will occur. That being said, it is possible that another buoy measured something higher or something more intense. So we'll just have to wait and see how it occurs. But yeah, so far it's been a 1 inch 1 inch tsunami. That's it. Very good. So again, a 0.1 foot wave is the latest measured from the Pacific Tsunami Warning Center. No new bulletins have been released. We are still keeping an eye on that. Wait, I think a new bulletin has possibly. Yes, okay. A new bulletin has been released. I'm going to read what it says, and it reads as follows. So, tsunami waves have been observed. I repeat, this is from the Pacific Tsunami Warning Center. They say tsunami waves have been observed. Based on all available data, hazardous tsunami waves are forecasted for some coast. Initial sea level readings from Mexico show a small wave. The Pacific Tsunami Warning Center will continue to monitor sea level gauges in the region until it is confirmed that the threat has passed. Currently, the tsunami threat forecast is as follows. Tsunami waves reaching 1 to 3 meters above the tide level are possible along some coasts of Cuba. Tsunami waves reaching 0.3 to 1 meters above the tidal level are possible for some coasts of Honduras and the Cayman Islands. Actual amplitudes of the coast may vary from forecast amplitude due to uncertainties in the forecast and local features. So, currently, it is possible for things to happen in Honduras and Cuba. The estimated times of arrival are as follows. Puerto Cortes in Honduras. The estimated time of arrival is 0:22 hour UTC. That is 0022 UTC. In Trujillo, Honduras, estimated arrival time is 0108 UTC. In Santa Cruz, Cuba, estimated arrival time is 0300 UTC. And in Nueva Girona, Cuba, the estimated arrival time is 0350 UTC. Those times are when the waves are expected to arrive in these areas. Again, it is possible that the waves are higher than expected due to local geology. So far, the only observed wave was 0.03 meters or 0.1 feet in the wave period of 14 minutes at the Isla Mujeres, Mexico, at 0103 UTC. So this is the latest bulletin that has been sent out from the Pacific Tsunami Warning Center. We're going to keep you guys updated on whether or not this changes, and so we will see. So, what do you think? What do you think about this, David?
I think that, I mean, obviously the situation could have been much worse. Obviously, we're going to continue to monitor.
I have a question, if that's okay.
Let me just finish. Obviously, the
Yeah.
situation could have been much worse. Thankfully, it wasn't, and it hasn't been so far. But truly, again, folks watching this, we're going to continue streaming for a few more hours of this. We're entering just right now hour 2 of coverage. We're going to keep monitoring the situation. Aftershocks are going to continue to happen, but just stay tuned for that. My honest opinion on this is quite simple. If you're in Cuba, in particular Cuba, although it says that a tsunami is possible, I would still take that seriously and not necessarily evacuate, but get prepared to evacuate whenever possible. So, just 1 to 3 meters is no joke. So, folks, yeah, we're gonna continue monitoring the situation, but just remember that this situation could have been much, much worse had it been a different mechanism of earthquake
So is that what
rupture.
was the limiting factor? Was that it was the strike slip for tsunami?
Yes, the
Yes.
limiting factor is definitely going to be the type of focal mechanism that generated this earthquake. Strike slip is very, very untsunamigenic, so it will
I
not
see.
create a tsunami. More than likely, will not.
Mm.
That being said, it is not out of the question, however, that a tsunami could happen, because there have been many strike slip earthquakes in the past that have created tsunami waves. So that's definitely why we need to keep watch on things right now and see how it evolves, and whether or not any tsunami waves will be observed is only up to God at this point to see if anything will happen. So we just got to wait and see what will happen. And so far, yeah, it's very, very lucky that there hasn't been any major underwater landslide compared to past events. For example, in the past, in 2010, a major earthquake similar to this one struck Haiti, and that was a devastating, devastating earthquake that caused a lot of damage and a lot of death. And it was
I just want to say, for those that are watching the live cam, I just want to let you know an update on what's going on in the restaurant. The restaurant is now empty.
Uh-oh.
Oh, well, not empty, but there's much less people now there, which can mean.
So that could be one of two things. Given the fact that it is now 2014, it means either the restaurant has closed or they've evacuated. One of the two.
Possibly, yeah. I still
Yes.
see some people walking around. Some, but it looks empty from what I can see.
Yeah.
It looks like just a bunch of waiters.
Again, I'm gonna state that in 2010, a 7.0 struck in Haiti and completely destroyed the country. The capital was hit, demolishing the parliament. Basically, Port-au-Prince, Haiti was completely leveled. It was a devastating earthquake, and it was just like this one, a strike slip. So these earthquakes are not to be underestimated. They can cause major damage and lead to catastrophic results. So this is a large earthquake. It is in the biggest class of earthquakes. And so far, this has been the biggest earthquake of 2025.
Yep.
And the biggest earthquake in over a year and 1 month. The largest earthquake of this size to last strike was the 7.6, exact same size to strike in Japan in that was hit the Noto Peninsula. That was a devastating 7.5. Wait, is this the largest earthquake to ever be caught on Global Quake? Oh shit, it is.
Oh,
Boy, that is significant.
apologies for the swearing, but
Wow.
yeah, this is quite historical for Global
apologies,
Quake.
yes.
No, it's fine, it's fine. This is quite historical
This
for
is
Global
very
Quake.
big in general.
Oh yeah.
Congratulations,
They
man.
upgraded.
Quake
They,
is a
they updated they updated the shape map. and now it includes like the fault it ruptured, like the area.
Oh, they got the the finite fault in?
Yeah.
No way. Where? No,
Go-
they didn't.
On the shake map.
Oh, the fake map? Oh, yes.
Yeah, they
Oh,
did update.
cool. Good. This is going to change. So it's going to be definitely subject to change. However, so far, it is looking like the rupture length is right about 100 kilometers of rupture length. That is about 70 miles of rupture length. So that is a significant rupture of the fault. That is a long rupture, actually. So it is very interesting that the USGS is very quick to get that 100 kilometers of rupture length along this fault line. Where did that earthquake happen? Yes, so this is the Caribbean Sea near the Cayman Islands. This is where the earthquake is struck. So far, it is looking like it was about 100 kilometers of rupture length. So we will see how things evolve. I cannot wait to see the finite fault calculations on this rupture. Those, I believe, will be coming in the following days. That will detail the speed of rupture and the meters per second of slip rate.
By the
So
way,
we will see when further data comes out. I will be right back, by the way.
Ooh, this looks good.
by the way, I just want to point out that the current this is Global Quake's biggest. I mean, this is Global Quake's biggest successes because they got this earthquake intensity on point. So Nathan, congratulations to your program.
Thank you. I know intensity and magnitude were exact and rapid. The USGS,
Wait, like right off the bat.
Yeah, the USGS, they corrected themselves multiple times. They started with 8.0, and that was a gross overestimate. Then they revised to 6.7, which is a gross underestimate. However, all that time, Global Quake was right on the exact magnitude of 7.6. So I believe this is really a great demonstration of Global Quake's capabilities at rapid, accurate earthquake detection, and it really performed well, and I'm very proud of it today. It did a great job in detecting this earthquake accurately. So, yeah, we'll
Sorry,
see how
I'm watching,
it evolves. So far, it's looking like it is not the largest detection. Ishikawa was still not. It was still around 7.6, so we'll see whether or not this is, in fact, the legendary largest earthquake ever detected on Global Quake. I really hope it is. However, realistically, we're not sure yet until further calculations are out.
I thought didn't Global Quake's bot go 8.0 and then downgraded, or was it just stayed at 7.6? I think it was like
7.6.
I think it was prelim 7.3, then 7.0, then 7.6. So yeah, this is really good detection from them.
Yes.
Every box I place looks better and better.
So, by the way, folks, just want to remind you that we here at Disaster Central don't just do earthquakes. We do.
Yes, I'm the convective specialist.
We do tornado outbreaks sometimes. We do hurricane coverage.
Yeah. You need to stay tuned for the tornado outbreaks, because if you live in the US, those are probably going to affect you the most, and there could be one coming up in mid-February.
And
so
I want to let y'all know.
I have a video on that.
I have a big announcement that I want to say out right now. We did finally get some people in Europe, some specific chasers in Europe, to be able to get us some footage whenever possible. So we will be able to have European tornado outbreak coverage, which will be pretty exciting to do.
Hey, David. Why don't we have it like a Discord server for all the community?
We're working on that.
Oh, working on it. Okay, cool.
It's behind the scenes. It's a big project. We're working on that. So yeah, stay tuned, folks. Make sure you subscribe to Disaster Central for more coverage as we speak. We're going to be going live for at least an hour extra, maybe two, depending on how big the waves turn out to be. But yeah, stay tuned for all that. Well, they're forecasting 1 to 3 meters for Cuba, on the tip of Cuba, on the northern side of Cuba. The official heights have been confirmed to be 0.1 foot, which is not that much. So
yeah, so I don't see why we have to go live for so long.
Because the Pacific Tsunami Warning Center is forecasting 1 to 3 meters in Cuba.
Oh, so that's still like we don't know, right?
Yeah, that we still don't know what the official heights will be there in Cuba.
Yeah, so we need to be on alert until then, pretty much.
Yeah. So Ed, you're talking about the thumbnail. Yeah. So our productions team was not necessarily on high alert. And quite frankly, none of us were on alert. But the thumbnail looks good to me, in my opinion. We will.
Yeah, I see literally no issue with it. What's wrong with it?
But yeah, we'll keep.
Oh no, he doesn't mean the thumbnail itself. He means when we were talking about it on stream.
No,
that was it. He doesn't mean the actual thumbnail. So yeah, we just need to talk less about off-stream stuff, which is fair.
It's a fair criticism. Yeah.
Yeah. We're gonna keep improving. We're no experts right off the bat. I mean, we are when it comes to the actual disasters themselves, but we're just getting our production side up and running. There's some pretty cool things on the way though, so stay tuned.
Anybody know about the current situation in the Virgin Islands? So the Virgin Islands, the U.S. side at least, is under tsunami advisories. I believe maybe those were canceled.
Yeah, that's significant.
No, they were canceled. Sorry. So the Virgin Islands, the tsunami advisories have been canceled. However, there's still a threat for ocean currents to be a big threat. So that's what we can say right now. We'll keep you updated as the time continues and if updates are warranted.
David, if you can give me channel access back at some point so I can put the thumbnails on quickly, that'll be nice. You don't even need, honestly, if I can just forward it to you guys, it doesn't matter. It's just the mic didn't change the title, so. It's not a huge issue, you should have done that. But anyway, yeah.
If you do have any questions, comments, concerns in regards to the earthquake itself, please let us know. We will continue to update you.
What are those 3 circles on your screen? I think you need to do some more stuff on the screen. It's pretty
Well, I mean, yeah. This is what Global Quick is showing right now. So the circles on our screen is the actual earthquakes, the previous earthquakes. The red one was the main shock.
You know what we need?
Yep.
You know what we need? I just thought, if we have a screen like this, right, where it's just static, we need subtitles, I think, in a corner. That'd be amazing. No, we can do that. I know how to do it. It's also great for accessibility.
Free to be me. A big update. So in regards to Israel, to that news, the news stream, I think they're referring to the swarm in Greece. I do want to say though, that the swarms in Greece, luckily, is beginning to slow down. which means that we're not necessarily seeing we're not necessarily seeing their the likelihood for a massive earthquake to happen.
In other news, as some of you were talking about earlier, there is a possibility for severe weather in the southern, southeast, I'd say, between area or exact threat yet, but it's definitely there.
That's
Models
what
have
I
been
am working on. I'm trying to work on that.
generally consistent about something happening those days, but it's kind of far out, so it can't be we
Exactly
can't
on
sound all the
placement and
alarms just
timing.
yet.
Yeah. I will say the yeah, just continuous uptrends are the models, right? But that's not surprising because, well, I'll talk.
I want to say that opinions are allowed in the chat, but please keep it professional. There's always a point where some of these opinions can become not necessarily as some people, and I tend to say more, I don't mean to step on the political side of things, but not necessarily political, but more necessarily, how do I say this? Unprofessional. If the chat, if you guys just remain professional, we'll let these slide. But like for example, and by the way, I apologize for the guy that was talking, or that was being rude, I guess, to the commenters. I take full responsibility for that. Just want to reiterate that we're not muting people that are spewing religious, that are talking about religion, purely because it's religion. We're muting the people that are specifically spamming. Spammers. That's what I mean. I completely understand. I grew up. I mean, I'm a Christian myself. Political wise, I'm pretty centrist. So just
Politics, don't get them in
no, no,
here.
no, no, no. But like again, uh,
Okay.
I apologize for the way that some certain members in that call or in this team spoke about y'all. Um, it was completely unprofessional, and again, I think this has to do with the stress that we're put into when we have to
What
report.
is this like apology, man?
When we have to put when we have to put when we have to put effort into, when we have to actually lock things in. So I completely apologize for that. We will continue to I will continue to monitor the situation as time proceeds, but again, just wanted to reiterate that. So, yeah. If you do have any questions, comments, or concerns, continue to send them in the chat. We'll be here to read them. Majority of our team is beginning to start going. So, yeah, we have to maintain things professionally, because reporting on this type of stuff when information is coming out from all over places can be stressful. So, yeah, understand. I wasn't talking on the stream for 2 hours, because of some of my microphone problems, which you can be hearing in the background. But I've been working on producing graphics, and there's been a lot of chaos into that. So, yeah, apologies for that. Were there any foreshocks? There were not any foreshocks. Do I think pole shift could cause a lot of earthquaking? I would have to do research on that. I'm not sure what that is, what you are referring to, but I could get back to you on that. What is the latest report on Grand Cayman? So the Cayman Islands in general, is. I mean, we can show you up. Let's put you on the. Let's put on this camera here. This is a camera from the restaurant at the Cayman Islands. We are continuing. You can see here a restaurant with some people there, I believe. Maybe it's pretty empty. This is a few minutes old, but you can see here not much there. The Pacific Tsunami Warning Center does say, however, that the wave heights, if there are to be any, because remember, the threat for tsunami is minimal because of the structure of this earthquake. So just understand that. So the Cayman Islands looks pretty empty. Maybe a few waiters probably is that the restaurant is closed, but we'll have to find out in the coming hours. So that's what we can say right now. Switching back to our graphics here, display here, and you can see pretty much not many aftershocks have occurred. We've had 3 reported on GlobalQuake. However, we did get this report a few minutes ago that there has been at least 6 instead of these 3 that you can see here. So it just has to do with the availability of seismic stations. But 2025 has been an extremely active start. This has been a very active year. Not as active as 2023 or 2024, I apologize, with the day one, quite literally day on, being the 7.6 in Japan that caused a huge tsunami. So that day one thing, I mean, it hasn't been as active as 2024. However, this is the biggest earthquake of the year, and this is actually the biggest earthquake in over a year since January 1st. So, of 2024. So that's what I can't say. It has been pretty active, though. Somebody previously asked if we do 24/7, 365 coverage. No, we don't. We are working with a group of people that could get us to do some documentaries, so we could do some filler programs for coverage at some point in the coming months, potentially a year. But we're not on 24/7, 365. We are on exclusively for when major meteorological, geological events occur. So yeah. Oh, and of course astronomical sometimes. We did Aurora coverage before this huge rebrand occurred. So yeah, that's what we can say. There is a new earthquake, and some of you might be actually wanting to be paying attention to this. There is a new earthquake in the islands of Greece. 3.3, 10 kilometers deep, and you can see here that the earthquakes themselves have been. There's been multiple small earthquakes. There's multiple smaller earthquakes, but again, this is what we call a swarm, and what swarms are is simple. A swarm is pretty much when a specific area gets hit. And if you think about this as a bee swarm, right? Beehive, right? You hit the beehive and you get a swarm of bees rushing out. So think of it like this: one earthquake hits the tectonic plate, or there's some sort of volcanic activity that begins to occur. Then it's it's like hitting the beehive with a stick, right? All the beehives will start coming out. So this is what we're beginning. This is what we're seeing. One big quake, one decently sized quake. I think it was a 5.5, struck Greece, and all of a sudden we saw so many of these fours and fives. So that's what we call a swarm. That's what a swarm is. Uh, it's like a swarm of bees, but tectonic wise. It's a swarm, tons of earthquakes within days. So tons and tons of earthquakes day after day after day. That's what it is. Uh, and this is all happening in Santorini. So that's what we can call a swarm. That's what a swarm really is. It's just tons of earthquakes happening uh, very close to each other and going on for days on end. That's what it is. We're joined by Arctic, who is a main contributor when it comes to streaming on the live coverage side of things. How are we doing? How are we doing?
I'm doing good.
All
I
right.
was here earlier, but then I left.
Yeah, he was here earlier. So, any new updates to provide, or
Not really. There's still a threat to Cuba, but like, there's no stations. Like, they believe that that 0.1 like foot or that really small measurement in Mexico was just the surf on the side of it, meaning that they still believe that there's a possibility. Because like they published the map, their coastal forecast map, where they believe like the tsunami generated by this would go mainly to the north and go towards the like most western parts of Cuba at possibly a meter in height.
yeah? And again, this is of course, a very developing situation, and obviously things will change within the course. We are going to be continuing to go live for a bit, probably for about a good 30 or so minutes, um, just to continue providing as much coverage as we possibly can without exhausting ourselves. So, yeah, but again, thank you all for the support. We hit 5,000, and now we are at 5.5 thousand, which is incredible. Uh, Thank you guys so much for the incredible support. Uh, and of course, donations. Thank you so much for the donations. It means a lot to us. We're, again, a volunteer program, a project. It's just a lot of people who volunteer to do this stuff. We just love to do these things. So, yeah. Apologies, or thank you for all your support. In regards to, again, and I have to warn people, I should have warned people when we were at peak, but the Nightbot is very strict. I'm going to try to fix that, but if you're getting your messages deleted for the emoji spam, I completely apologize for that. I'm going to get that fixed after the stream, so next time we avoid situations like this from happening. But yeah, I completely apologize for that. So yeah, and again, Disaster Central, we don't just do earthquakes, but it seems like we do a lot of earthquakes because that's where we typically see the most success in. We do tornadoes, we do severe weather, we do hurricanes, obviously tsunamis, obviously earthquakes. We do some aurora, eclipse coverages whenever they happen. So yeah. Um, Tina Brunson says, probably won't be back to your channel. I found you to be anything but professional. Uh, very rude and very sarcastic. Have a blessed night. Enjoy your Enjoy your night. That's all I can say. Enjoy your night. Um, Opinions will be allowed, but yeah. Uh, all right. This is normal earthquake activity. So that 7.5 is not normal. Yearly, once the yearly earthquakes pop up and we see anywhere from like 5 to 10, 5 to 13 sevens, that's normal activity. But yeah. This is not normal, especially for this area. But yeah. These earthquakes, I think the last time this happened was, I think this was 2020 when something like this happened. I think it was 7.7. But yeah. Again, folks, I need to remind y'all, pretty big things are being planned behind the scenes. We're working with a huge group of people. Well, I say huge, but obviously, as if you haven't been watching the news, some of the most important agencies that are essential to providing information are being asked to cut staff, and obviously they provide critical information. So I want to say that we are going to continue providing the best possible coverage we can. NOAA, the NWS, AccuWeather, pretty much what we rely on. We rely on the USGS, NOAA, NWS, JTWC, PTWC, the Weather Channel, AccuWeather. We use all of these agencies, and then we create our own. We create our own news with that, and that's how we get our stories. So we're gonna trust me. We're gonna continue to provide the best possible coverage, despite the challenges that we do face. Um, when it comes to getting that information, but we will try our hardest to work with you in providing you life-saving information. Just make sure you know that. And again, just to reiterate what's going on for those who haven't or just tried. Recently, about 3 hours ago, there was a 7.6 earthquake that happened around the northern coast of Honduras. And then after that, a massive tsunami threat was issued, and obviously this stuff continues to obviously this stuff is continuing to develop. We will continue to that's a random earthquake. Hold on. Wait a minute. Oh, it's just the one. Never mind. I thought there was something going on there, but never mind. It looked like a random earthquake. Apologies for that, but obviously you guys can probably tell I'm still pretty new when it comes to reporting things. So I apologize for all the stuttering. I do this a lot when I talk, so it's just normal. I'm still trying to adapt. With all of this. So hey, but how are we doing, chat? We've been reporting so much on the news for the last 2.5 hours. I haven't gone to talk with y'all. So how are we doing? How are we doing? And when we say we, because I just saw a comment talking about when I use the pronoun we say we because we're actually, instead of me just being the only one that does these coverages, it's a team of multiple people that work behind the scenes, that work with us to create this type of graphic, these type of graphics, these type of news, these type of information. It's we because it's a big team. It's not just myself, believe it or not. But yeah, the rest of these folks had to go. It's just right now as I can say, the people that are in the stream with or the contributors that are working with us is me, Nathan, who is doing something apart from the side, probably working with Global Quake, Arctic, which is here, hi Arctic, and Cranophonics, who is screen sharing Global Quake. So yeah.
So they did just issue the final tsunami threat message saying that the threat has now passed. Now, I do believe, I don't know if it'll ever be released, but I do believe there probably more than likely was not a tsunami somewhere in Cuba, as that's where the predicted model that the Pacific Tsunami Warning Center uses for it had a pretty big area of like more significant waves than what was in Mexico. A 0.1 FIBO probably might never know. Matters if the Cuban government wants to release it. There's just in that area, there's not a lot of stations in the way how a strike slip means there's not going to be a big like area of tsunami. It's not going to be like 360. It's going to be like the direct area in front of it. So, and we only really, it's not going to be anywhere behind it. So it's really only the Yucatan, and we had the U.S. government only had access to that one station. So probably never know, but there was definitely a tsunami generated with this.
Possibly was a tsunami there. Unfortunately, again, I remember when we did the Cuba earthquake stream, we got no information there. We went live for 3 hours trying to pull information that just wasn't there. There was a specific guy on that comment section. I won't ever forget this guy, but he was talking about how I think he was in Manzanarillo in Cuba, and he was just giving us as much information as he could. And that guy is still on my hand, in my opinion, one of the most important people that were there, because he actually gave us a one-on-one perspective through the chat. Obviously, we couldn't bring him onto the call or anything, but yeah, that guy was still pretty important. And again, Cuba tends to not release any news and information for obvious political reasons. But yeah, it's really hard to work with to do these type of streams when we have governments or not governments but countries that just don't want to release that information. So again, if we have a lack of information, we apologize for that. But obviously, sometimes we're working with situations where there just isn't enough information for us to report on, and not just enough information, but not enough verified information to report on. So, yeah. I know, Ed. I know. Thank you for letting me know, though. Yeah, he said, if there was ever a magnitude 15, you won't be here to give your reports. Yeah, I know. Thank you, Ed. Thank you, Ed. So Garcia, so this program that we're using we can't necessarily show fault lines. This program is still relatively new. We're getting a mode done just for us though, where we can show whatever we need. So yeah, that's all we need. We are looping old stuff. No, this is the current stuff. Thanks though. This is the live feed. I will show you though cameras. If the camera is still new, there it is. This is the camera live cam in the Cayman Islands, and you can see still people there. Some people chilling out with food. It looks like. Obviously, the waves won't be as high there. Obviously, the main threat really is potentially is northern Cuba. So yeah, that's what you're looking at there. Um, uh, sorry, I can't get over some of you. You guys are pretty funny. Just want to answer some of y'all's questions. I get. Oh, I'm so sorry. I just saw that, Paul. It's the bot being the bot. Sorry, folks. I'm trying my best to work to manage the stream. There's just so much graphics. Oh, uh-oh. Well, here's one earthquake you might want to pay attention on. Preliminary 3.1 earthquake. Honduras, approximate depth 26.2 kilometers. This is revision number 1, I think. And there's also an earthquake in the Hawaiian Islands region, but that one's not small and not really related to the whole situation. So 26.1 kilometers deep. This is revision number 1, quality C, which means that the quality is average. It may be there, it may not be there, but according to the seismographs, they tend to say otherwise. So that is the newest earthquake there, and we'll probably get revisions on that coming soon. Daniel Brooks, I do not know about, I don't know what restaurant this is. Let me pull this up. Let me pull the exact details. This is the cracked conch, the cracked conch in the Cayman Islands. That's what it is. The restaurant is called Cracked Conch. Free to be me says, can we show the fault lines? Do we have Arctic, can you send me a screenshot of like one of the fault lines? What is that? What is going on? Oh. Right. Yes, cracked conch, exactly spelled like that. Let me transition back though. There we go, thank you. And I want to provide, just so I can get this picture up. Give me a second. Oh, it's a... So, it's... Or, sorry. It's taking a while. Again, so here's the fault line themselves, and you can see, really interestingly enough, you can see where the rupture was at with this. You can see that whole red line. That's the fault line, and these dots are the actual earthquake. And you can see the earthquake runs. These aftershocks have been running with the earthquake fault. So that's it. That's the fault lines. In just about 15 minutes, we will finish. This will conclude our live coverage. So stay tuned for that, for our final words on there. Make sure you subscribe for more coverage. We're trying our best here. This was This was not how I was planning my Saturday afternoon to be, but yeah, that's what we're working with. And there you can see the waves. This is the miscellaneous screen. I call it the miscellaneous screen because, well, for obvious reasons, I do. Oh yeah, and I just wanted to show off that little graphic there. I don't even know why I did that, but did it because I felt like it. So, yeah. There it is, folks. So back to hold on. And I've returned. So, um, actually, hold on. Wait a minute. I need to do one more thing. Yes, Rental. Yes, it does. Apologies for that. And G Will, you are done. Goodbye. Bye bye. Because we are not dealing with that. There are no more tsunami warnings. We do believe, though, that the tsunami did strike Cuba. So that's uh, that's what did happen. And we're back. Before we end the stream, I just want to thank all of you tonight. Whether you appreciated our coverage or you were critical about it or you just didn't like it in general, every comment helps us in the future get better. And I just want to thank all of you for the comments, for the donations, the likes, the subscriptions. I want to thank you all for everything tonight. It feels like I've been here before. I've had to make this speech 3 different times, and every time it feels better. I feel better and better and better. I started this project 3 years ago, 2022. Not expecting much. I was expecting more of a. Honestly, I was expecting this to fail, to be honest. But I kept going, and 2024. I started this project with myself. Then slowly we started getting more people in, and then we started getting more subscribers and more people watching in. And my breakthrough probably happened during 2024. Exactly when that happened, January 1st. We went live for a tsunami and earthquake that struck Japan, and we hit 356,000 views, I think. And ever since then, I had the urge. After that, I just had the urge to just keep streaming and keep getting better. And it wasn't until July where we stopped running with the old setup. You can go back. You can see the old setup we had. We stopped running with the whole setup, and I just started doing this program, this setup that we have right now. The early stages in development were not good, in my opinion, but right now the programming has never been better. It just hasn't been better, and I will continue to better the program even more. Obviously, I want to thank the team that has been here. It takes a special kind of dedication to put effort into this project when it can end, when it can fail, and it means a lot. So to the team, if you're watching this, and Arctic, if you're listening, thank you. And obviously to the viewers who have been watching for quite a while, thank you. It really means a lot to me. When I started this, I was just, well, let's just say I was just excited to upload videos and do streams. And I did that. And yeah, it was, I think it was one of the best decisions I've made to just keep going. So thank you so much for the support. Thank you so much for the comments, the criticisms. You might think that you don't have an impact, but you really do have an impact. So yeah, thank you so much for all the support. It really does mean a lot. Art, did you want to say anything?
No.
Yeah. So he doesn't have much to say. So yeah. It's been my honor to be giving you guys the information you need. And we will continue to work on that promise. Whether we're taking you to it or we're getting you through it, we're always here. And to just, what I could say is, at least on the YouTube side of things, not the official side of things, because obviously you don't want to trust the official side of things, or you don't want to trust everything that goes on the internet, but obviously on the YouTube side of things, trust in Disaster Central. That's what I can say. We've put so much effort into these type of streams and content. Your support really means a lot. So from the bottom of our hearts, thank you. And we will continue to deliver our promise to take you or get you through it. This has been a Disaster Central special report. My name is David Vela, reporting in from our headquarters in Houston, Texas. And we'll speak soon. Thank you. Yeah.